This morning, the miracle survival at sea. You're watching a Coast Guard helicopter flying above 3 stranded fishermen, rescuing them after their boat sank and they fended off a shark attack. One fisherman being plucked from the water in that basket, the others hoisted onto a boat, one of them appearing to embrace one of their rescuers. It happened about 25 miles off the Louisiana coast. The men set out for a fishing trip Saturday morning. Their boat started taking on water.
We made a distress call on the VHF radio to the Coast Guard and let them know that we're taking on water. We're taking a water vessel sinking. And not even seconds after that, the boat was nearly halfway underwater.
They quickly tied these 2 ice chests together, creating a makeshift raft.
That was critical in us surviving, tying the ice chests together.
And survive, they did, you guys. The details here, these 3 Louisiana fishermen spent an entire 28 hours in the water there, tied up with their coolers and their life preservers, stranded off the Gulf of Mexico. So obviously, whenever you hear about these water rescues, especially when it comes to like ocean style water like this, it's the dehydration is the problem. But they also had sharks and jellyfish consistently biting and stinging them. Damn. So before we hear about how they actually got more about how they were rescued and the heroism that was involved with that, more details really fast, because this is all, they were found because of this. I was arguing all the time about phones, Android versus iPhone. This one I'm gonna lose. While they drifted, the concerned wife of one of the men contacted the Coast Guard and said they were incommunicado and hadn't made it home when they typically did so around sunset. But without a known departure spot for the boat, it would take the Coast Guard some 3.5 hours of extra detective work, they called it, to identify a possible search area. That's what Lieutenant Commander Kevin Keefe, Sector or New Orleans Search and Rescue Mission Coordinator, said. So after a long night out there where they're out at sea and they're trying to figure out what's going on, one of the men, Fong Lee, saw a shrimp boat in the distance. So he's like, here is my last chance for rescue. This is how they got out.
I wasn't thinking of anything. I decided that I told the guys that I have to do it. Yeah. I have to do it. It's our last chance.
Yeah.
So I made the trek to the shrimp boat.
Yeah.
It's 4 to 5 miles away.
Yeah.
So I just swam out there, and when I got close to the shrimp boat, maybe within a mile, I saw the smoke come up, and it went in the opposite direction.
The shrimp boat left. So you had your phone. You only had 5% battery, and you only had time for probably one text. What was your text?
Well, I opened up my phone, and then that's when all of a sudden, all the text messages came in.
Could you believe you got a signal right out there in the middle of nowhere?
The whole time I didn't have no signal, but out in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, I had a signal.
Yeah.
This is the actual
phone. Let me see that phone.
We want a waterproof case.
Oh.
So you're holding it up. You still have your flotation device.
Yes.
You have your waterproof case. You see that shrimp boat you were swimming through disappear into the horizon. You hold up your phone. Well, that was the moment, Fong, because somehow that message got to your friend. Your friend got it to the Coast Guard.
I text them.
Incredible.
I just hurry up and text them, and then the minute I text them, I sent them and said, I'm floating out to sea. My boat sank.
Well,
let's get an image of that text he sent to the friend that saved all of their lives. As the one friend said, hey bro, their Coast Guard search and fail, where you at? And there's that one pinpoint location on that image that he sent to his friend. And then his friend was astounded that he's the one who has to be the one to relay this information to make sure that their lives get saved, Dan. Crazy stuff, nightmare scenarios for a lot of people. There was a movie back in like 2000 or something where these 2 folks got lost at sea and they were on like a cruise. And I'm not gonna give the spoiler alert, but they were sitting in the middle of the ocean and it's a nightmare situation. I only watched that movie once. I'll never watch it again.
Yeah, as a surfer, as someone who gets in the water a lot and enjoys it very much, I would not look forward to either that movie or that experience. Like being stung and having to fend off shark attacks, just the morale of swimming 3 miles, getting nowhere. Like you have to, I think they had life vests on, but you still have to like tread water and like float around the entire time. As you mentioned, dehydration is a huge problem because you can't just drink that salt water. Tastes bad, not good for you. So like it's really, it's such a miracle that they made it. But because I guess we just are both masochists, JR. We're both Clippers fans and we're both Android users. That's just having signal. You can send your location on any device whatsoever.
He pointed out He pointed out that he swam and then the water got all on his phone. He goes, "It still worked. It still worked."
They got waterproof galaxies, man. It's fine. Don't give Apple anything. There's no point do you have to hand Tim Cook anything.
Actually, mine is waterproof. You're right. Mine is waterproof too. Actually, I remember checking that. Mine is waterproof as well, so it all works.
I've taken underwater photos with this too. So it's no advertising, but like iPhone gets so much free advertising. Come on here.
The other day we did this guy on the side of a cliff that kicked and punched a bear to make sure he saved his life. These guys, one more clip from these guys because it's an amazing story. One more clip from them of how they actually got out. Let's go to SOT 3, yo.
And you and your friend who's not here but is recovering, you were in the water and you were confronted with sharks. We have a picture of this life vest that a shark actually chomped right through. What was happening there?
The shark hit the life vest and I tried to push him off. Wouldn't go away, so I jabbed him in his eyes.
With your hand?
My fingers, like this.
Put your thumbs in?
Put my thumbs in his eyes, and he took off.
Oh.
Yeah, got a couple scars, but you know.
They were not only shark-infested waters, there were jellyfish-infested waters.
Yeah.
The night you described, it sounds hellish to me. What was it like?
15 to 20 minutes, you were constantly being stung by jellyfish. Constantly being stung by jellyfish. And it wasn't small.
They were the big ones?
Yeah, so in the middle of the night, I woke up with a jellyfish this big in my lap.
Oh.
Bro, no. Still, I guess sticking thumbs in the eyes. I gotta remember that point in case this ever happens to me. I love the ocean too. And by the way, the scars were sunburn. He jumped straight to the Today Show. He's like, "Forget this. I'm gonna show you guys what I've been through."